What's going on, everyone? It's Andrew Mayer here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about xAPI and its application on different websites. So, xAPI stands for Experience Application Programming Interface, and basically it's a standard for tracking user interaction with a website. It's very easy and flexible to get started. Through a plugin on WordPress, I was able to activate xAPI. Basically, it enables users to track the activity that visitors have on their site for a variety of different purposes. So each interaction with a xAPI enabled object emits an xAPI statement. And this statement is just a JSON blob that describes the interaction that happened. So you can see here, just by visiting the site, we generated an xAPI statement. And we'll get into the parts of that a little bit later. So these statements are then transferred from the website front end to a learning record store in the back end. And a learning record store, at its most basic form, is just to store and recall xAPI statement. But learning record stores can have more advanced functionality, such as analyzing a bunch of different xAPI statements as a whole, uh, and interacting with a reporting dashboard and other complex analysis tools. Also, because these statements are stored as JSON blobs, the statements themselves, as well as their implementation in the learning record store, can be very flexible and can be really whatever the website or application owner wants to make them. So let's take a look at the website that I have up here. This is just a website that I'll link in the description. It has some more information about xAPI. So, like I said, by just visiting the website, we've already generated a statement that says that we just viewed this xAPI enabled object here, this little game. And as we go and drag in the different words here, we're able to see over on the inspect panel in the console that we're generating more xAPI statements. And I'm just using a JavaScript listener to sort of catch these statements. So let's say we continue to finish them up. Oh, and after we complete the activity, that also generates another xAPI statement. So you can see in the collapsed sort of view of the statement on the console, there's sort of four main parts to the xAPI statement. The actor, which tells the user that was interacting and describes the user. The verb, which tells what the user was doing. The object, which is the specific piece of content that we're interacting with, and the context, which gives additional information that can be helpful. And then in this last statement, after we submitted our attempt, the result is an additional field that helps to track more information about this interaction. Let's take a look more at the actor. So the actor, like I said, describes the user. And because I'm logged in as admin, you're able to see that that's recorded within the actor field. If I take a look at some of the other xAPI statements that I've already generated, these actors can be pretty much anybody. As a guest, it's just going to generate a UUID for that person. As I mentioned previously, the verb describes what type of activity the user is engaging in. So at the end, you can see in the verb field, we answered this question, we completed it. So that's going to has a link to describe what that verb means, but it basically tells what we did. Object is going to talk about specifically what we interacted with. It has a link to the embed of this question within the object field, and it also tells what type of interaction that is. Context is also able to give us additional information. It tells us that it's an activity and has a link to describe more about what this activity is. Context is very flexible and can have a ton of different fields. And like I said, because this is all JSON, it's very flexible and can be sort of crafted however the user wants. So now let's go take a look at the learning record store, which is storing these statements. we can see the activity that we just engaged in, where we have the actor, we have the verb, we have the object, and we have some additional context, as well as the entire JSON blob that this is parsing and displaying different fields as columns. As I mentioned previously, the learning record store is really what's able to make sense of the xAPI statements and makes them useful. Because they're unstructured, they need an additional application to be able to parse it for important information that can be useful. And that's really where the power of xAPI comes in, because once you have these statements, what you can do with them is pretty much endless. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Just a quick information about xAPI statements. I'll link a website that I go more in depth into this topic in the description, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.